For years, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have shown the world a picture of perfect family life, sunshine, smiles, and privacy. But now, a woman who worked inside their California mansion is breaking her silence, and what she's revealing could shatter that image completely. She wasn't an outsider. She lived it, day after day behind the scenes. And according to her, what the world saw was nothing like what really happened inside those gates. She describes a home filled with control, silence, and secrets. And most shocking of all, she claims she never once saw Meghan pregnant or the children themselves. If her story is true, it could explain why Archie and Lilibet have remained hidden for so long, and what Meghan and Harry might be desperate to keep quiet. Because once you hear what this woman says she witnessed, the Sussex fairy tale may never look the same again. It all began with one of the most unusual job listings anyone in the industry had ever seen. Meghan Markle's private team was searching for a nanny, but with one very specific rule: she couldn't be too attractive. No glamorous looks, no polished style, nothing that might draw attention. Plain was the goal. On paper, it sounded like any elite childcare position: experience, discretion, professionalism. But behind the scenes, the standards went far beyond childcare. Insiders say Meghan wanted to control every part of her home's image, even down to who appeared in it. A nanny that stood out, even unintentionally, could shift attention. And in Montecito, attention isn't just fame, it's currency. So this wasn't about jealousy or insecurity in the usual sense. It was about control. Control of the brand, control of the story, and control of how the Sussex family looked to the outside world. But that was only the beginning. Because once candidates entered the interview process, they realized this was no ordinary job. It was something much more demanding and far more revealing. The deeper candidates got into the process, the clearer it became. This wasn't a normal nanny job. It was a lifestyle built on control. They had to be available every hour of the day, ready to drop everything from Meghan and Harry. No personal life, no relationships, no children of their own. The family came first, always. And then came the real shock. Hidden cameras reportedly captured every move during trial shifts. How they spoke, how they smiled, even how they treated the cleaning staff, all recorded. By the time they met Meghan and Harry, decisions were often already made. The face-to-face meeting? Just a final check. It wasn't a job interview. It was an audition inside a monitored home. And when one maid finally got hired, she discovered that what was happening behind those gates was far stranger than anyone imagined. Day after day, the maid worked long shifts inside the mansion, but one detail never changed. She says she never once saw Meghan pregnant. Not with Archie, not with Lilibet, not even a hint of it. And, according to her, other staff quietly noticed the same thing. The photos, the glowing public bump, the hand on her stomach, none of it matched what they saw at home. Even stranger, she says she never saw the children either. No laughter, no cries, no toys, nothing that suggested kids live there at all. At first, she thought they were just away. But as weeks turned into months, the silence became impossible to ignore. And when she finally watched Meghan and Harry's Netflix documentary, what appeared on screen left her stunned, because it didn't look anything like the house she knew. Scenes showed Meghan cradling a belly, Harry playing with the children, the family laughing in the garden. The perfect California life. But according to her, none of it matched reality. The rooms were different, angles were off, and timelines didn't add up. Most importantly, Meghan had never been pregnant while she worked there. To the maid, the documentary wasn't a glimpse into their life. It was a carefully staged illusion designed for the cameras. And the more she watched, the more she questioned, if this wasn't real, then what was actually happening behind those gates? Inside the mansion, nothing was left to chance. Staff had their phones taken at the gate, bags checked, and every move monitored. Privacy didn't exist. Every worker, every visitor, every conversation was controlled. The maid describes it as less a home and more a fortress. Questions swirled in her mind. Why such strict rules? Why watch the staff so closely? Or Meghan and Harry trying to hide? Even the simplest moments, like the famous garden and chicken coop scenes, weren't what they seemed. To the maid, the home wasn't filled with laughter and children. It was staged, controlled, and silent. And that silence would eventually reveal the biggest mystery of all. The chicken coop became an icon of the Sussexes' simple family life, featured in photos and even Oprah's famous interview. But the maid insists the reality was very different. She says Archie and Lilibet were never there. No children, no laughter, no play, just a staged moment for the cameras. What looked like wholesome family time may have been carefully crafted for public approval. The maid isn't seeking attention or selling stories. She simply wants to share what she saw. And when all the pieces come together, the secrecy, the surveillance, the missing children, a chilling picture begins to form. The fairy tale family may not have been what the world was told. When you piece it all together, the strict rules, the hidden cameras, the silence, and the missing children, a very different story emerges from behind the gates of that California mansion. The Netflix documentary showed a radiant mother and joyful family, but according to the maid, that image was carefully staged. The truth, she says, was a home ruled by control, secrecy, and absence. And the biggest question remains, if the people living and working inside never saw Archie and Lilibet, then where were the children? What was really happening behind those walls? For the world, it was a fairy tale. But for those inside, it may have been something far darker and far more mysterious than anyone imagined.